Alright, so I wanted to explain some of my thoughts on on what we call life. Actually, it's really as simple as I wanted to look at life in another perspective. You can think of it as more of life and death scenarios, or the thing is, there is no life and there is no death, or they are coexistent and they depend on each other. They are just like yin and yang, or one and zero in a binary code. And what's so what we haven't thought about before is that we are alive today. I am alive, but the thing is, it's an ongoing life on and life off all of the time. That's why we often can feel so dead inside too, because you see, all of life is measured by frequencies of different kinds of sources, such as sound and light, for instance. And what this is, if we explain light, many of us believe that light is an infinite source of information, or an infinite source of measurement. But it really is. But what happens with light is you can see old lights. I've got one in my kitchen, for example. You can see when a light isn't good enough, it doesn't blink as fast as it's supposed to. Let's see if this one works. Okay, it blinks. You see here, it's a flimmery source of light when the light is on. You see? And this is actually how all light appears and works but it works in such frequencies at as high rate, so we don't notice this. This becomes like one flash. But you hear, and it's with the sound also, it works exactly the same, you see, because to have sound you must also have known sound. You can't create a sound wave without the the particles lying in a non-movement area. So what you do when you project sound, or hear sound, is you send an sound waves from, example, my throat, which I forgot the word of it in English, but it resonates in my skull, becomes a bigger picture, and it moves these massive molecules through air and time, and then we have little transmitters that reflect on these movements. And so what happens is, you have seen these sound waves, right? The two-dimensional projections of the sound wave, or at least the human version of it. These are, you can almost explain everything as in it's life and death, and it's life and death, and it starts like this all the time. It just goes on, click clack, click clack. Just like a binaural, it's just like zeros and ones, or lightning frequencies, sonic frequencies, or you can even measure it in yin and yang. You know, there must be, to have one side, there must be the other, and then there is the spectrum between it, which is in light we call it the rainbow colors and etc. But you know the thing is the spectra is much taller, longer than the visual light that we have. We have also infrared light, and which we've created devices to project, but it's not nearly as advanced as the eye of a worm or a snake. My main theory is that you can't really. That's why it's pointless to take your life, because as we have seen in the universe, it eventually starts over again in a simply different way. Little small changes, like Hitler and Trump, and it's life just goes on and on and on in this circular infinity, and you need death to understand the concept of life, and life to understand the concept of death. So these are coexistent and they are dependent on each other, so you should not fear death. Death is as much life is death. As life is life, even. You need to let go of those fears, and you need to balance your mind in simply ones and zeros, or yin and yang, and you have to balance not only yourself, but if you feel that you have one certain need, or etc., or that you're very comfortable in one way, you need to compensate that, and you need to feel that you are not giving too much and you are not taking too much, you are not living too much and you are not dying too much. You need to find this balance, and only then you can grasp the outer form of the cosmos and more deeper understanding of this simple life. And it actually, it's also easy to and better to look upon this life with a simple eye, and it's not at all as frustrating as it is trying to analyze it, but analyzing it is, for me, it's become the meaning of life. The meaning of life, because when meditating, thinking of the question, you know, the question, the infinite question. It's like, what is this? Or simply, why? Simply the word why. Why are we? Why? And this spirit occurred to me and told me the answer to your question is your question. And I thought for myself first, what do you mean? And then, so why are we? Why are we? We are because we must ask the question, why are we? We do not, this Universe does not exist without us questioning it. If we simply take it for granted, it becomes vivid and simply nothing. There is no such thing as nothing. Well, there is. It's the off source of life, and it's just as much as everything. Everything and nothing. You can't. No. This is like God. God is everything. At the same time, you can't. Nobody can deny it. Nobody can say that. No, this is my life. This is all about me and I myself. This is this old Western pretentious bullshit. It's just pretentious bullshit. This is what has colonized the whole world. The idea of your ego, yourself being bigger than anybody else, than that we are not co-existent, and that we are not living and affecting each other. This is the absolute truth. We are meeting and greeting. We are coexisting, communicating with each other. There would simply not be anything if there's only were one person. This is... So what I'm appealing to is to say that everything is God. There's no such person as God. The Hindus call it the Brahman, and the same in the Nirvana with the Buddhists. Yeah, well, I've shared my thoughts for today. You see, I go around a lot. I try different aspects in my theories, not only physically, not only religious, not only political. Or you have to combine everything, because everything is everything, and that's just you can't deny the simple fact that we are all, everything is connected. And yeah, well, thank you for today. Ciao.